I have put in the chat pod our welcome, and if you are new or a current family of Lowell Joint School District, just go ahead and enter that into the chat and maybe even the age of your students. And we're going to give it about 2 more minutes before we get started. We're still admitting people. Showing up. We appreciate you all. The meeting is going to be recorded. Just for a little technical information, I am on one screen, so I will be flipping back and forth as I'm sharing my screen. I can't see everyone individually on the screen, but I do have some helpers on here with me to navigate through this. So if you have any questions, feel free to just enter it in the chat and someone will let me know or they'll answer it for you. We are still admitting people into the Zoom as well, but I'm going to go ahead again and honor your time and get started. I'm going to switch back over right now to share my screen. Once again, welcome to the preschool family meeting for the 25-26 school year. The speakers for this evening will be myself, Renika Dixon, the Child Development Services Coordinator, and we also have Miss Christina Lopez, our Program Site Supervisor, and we do have Miss Holly Brander, our Early Learning Specialist TOSA, that will be joining us later on in the evening tonight. Again, tonight's meeting will be recorded. It will be uploaded on our website a little bit later, or at least by tomorrow afternoon for anyone that wants to reference the recording and those that couldn't make it tonight. As you can see, we do have a lot of information to cover. So again, if I talk a little bit too fast or there's something that you have a question on, we can kind of wait to the end because I do have some moments into the presentation for questions and answers, or again, you can enter your question in the chat. So just a little bit of what we'll be going over tonight. We'll be introducing our staff, some that are here with us this evening. Again, we'll be looking at the program overview. So we'll look at state-funded preschool that we offer, as well as the tuition-based, our dual immersion program that we have, and our monthly parent education opportunities, our eligibility, enrollment process, family fees, and our parent handbook. We'll also be highlighting some program spotlights that we have going on for the fall and some things that started this school year as well. We have our Learning Link, Parent Cafe. We're going to talk about what are ASQ assessments, also Healthy Smiles, our UCI iMobile, and vision and hearing screening. And towards the end, we'll look at upcoming important dates as well. So we have some preschool classroom tours that are scheduled, our enrollment packets, when those will be available, our online interest form, when that opens, and our family intake appointments, as well as our family orientation and the first day of school. So I would like to start with introductions. Again, if you are here from our early childhood education team, I'm just going to kind of go down the list here. These are those that RSVP tonight, but this does not include everyone. Our list is quite long. We have a very mighty educational team, which we're very happy about, but we do have some of our teachers and site supervisors on with us tonight. So I'll start with Jordan Preschool. We have Miss Lopez. Again, she's a program site supervisor and the lead teacher at Jordan. And Miss Lopez, if you're here, you can unmute and say hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm Miss Lopez. I'm at Jordan.
We're going to hear from Miss Lopez a little bit more in just a little bit as well. We also have Miss Moharo. She is our preschool teacher at Jordan. If you're on the call, please say hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Miss Cindy, and I'm at preschool teacher at Jordan Elementary School, for preschool.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're so excited to have her with us. She just joined us recently to the program, so she's a wonderful addition, especially to our dual immersion program at Jordan Preschool. We do have Miss Kramer. She is our preschool teacher as well at Jordan. She could not make it this evening, but again, she has been with us since the program started as well, along with Miss Lopez. For our Macy Preschool staff, we have Miss Perez. She is our site supervisor and lead teacher over at Macy Preschool.
Hello, good evening. My name is Miss Perez, and I'm the site supervisor at Macy.
Thanks for coming, Ms. Perez. Ms. Perez also has been with the program since it started, as well as the Miss Lopez. So she is a wonderful addition to the preschool as well with her leadership skills. We also have Miss Gonzalez is a preschool teacher at Macy Preschool as well.
Hi, you guys. I'm Miss Gonzalez. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Some of you might recognize Miss Gonzalez. She's also been here for 2 years now, Miss Gonzalez, but she started at Olita Preschool and is now at Macy. We also have Miss Cardenas. She is our associate teacher at Macy Preschool as well.
Hi, I'm Lauren Cardenas, and I'm at Macy.
Thanks for joining us. Ms. Cardenas is all things creativity, and she actually started with us as a parent at her kids joined Jordan Preschool, and then I'm just going to say she loved this so much that she decided to join us as staff, and we're so excited to have her now for the second year as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Cardenas, but we're happy to have you. We also have...
Yes, I'm happy to be here too.
Repeat that one more time.
I said yes, 2 years, and I'm happy to be here also.
Thank you. And then we have from our Lida Preschool, we have Miss Gaitan. She is our site supervisor and lead teacher and also has been with us since the program started.
Hi, everyone. Glad I can see everybody here.
Thanks, Miss Gaitan. And we also have Miss Vega Aurora, if I'm saying that right, but she also could not be with us this evening, but she has been a wonderful addition also to the Olita Preschool. And then we have our Learning Link team, which is Miss Rate. She is an elementary and preschool teacher, and we are so excited to have her lead the Learning Link program this year.
Hi, everyone. This is Mrs. Arati. Nice to see all of you here. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm here.
Thanks for joining us. I know you're busy. We are actually really excited. We'll be talking more about the Learning Link later on in our presentation this evening. But again, thanks for joining us. We also have Miss Brander, Holly Brander. She is our early learning specialist, TOSA. I'm not sure if she's on the call with us just yet, but she will be joining us later on to kind of go over some of the highlights of the program in Learning Link. All right. Coming together is a beginning, staying together is a progress, and working together is a success. I always like to include this in the presentation because it's really important and it kind of really summarizes us this evening coming together. So this is kind of the beginning of looking at what's to come for yourself as families and for your child as a student. Some of you are, this is your first time with your child starting in preschool. So we come together so we can kind of talk about it so you feel more comfortable about this next journey for all of you. And then we stay together through the entire process. The partnership between educators and families is very important, and it works towards the success of your student and as you learn as well through this process. So I always just like to include that. All right, so our program overview. So our preschool is a combination of CSPP, state-funded preschool, and tuition-based, which means you can qualify under state funds, or you can pay tuition as well if you don't qualify under state funds. Our enrollment is for ages 2.9 to 4 years old, and for CSPP students to qualify, you must be 3 years old by December 1st. I do know the age requirement gets a little confusing, especially with TK, but we can talk about that later on if anyone has any questions. Our part day and full day programs we're excited about. So new to the program, well, going on the second year, we were just funded for full day under CSPP, which means if you're enrolled in our full day program, you will get full funding for that if you do qualify. Our Jordan Preschool has an AM and a PM session. Our AM session is 8 a.m. to 11, and our PM session is 12:15 to 3:15. And I'll just quickly state that our PM session is the dual immersion program, which I'll also talk about later on in the presentation. Our Olita and Macy preschool is 8 a.m. to 3:15, which is considered our full day program. It does include a rest period within there. And about 2 different times they do go out for outdoor activities, as well as snacks and lunch as well. If you are a CSPP student, these snacks and lunch are included as well. So we do believe in providing nutrition, and we'll kind of talk about nutrition curriculum as well in a little bit. We are regulated by Title V and Title 22, which means we have to satisfy our community care licensing and the CSPP, which is Title V as well. We are high quality play-based emergent curriculum, and we do use the preschool learning foundations, as well as we network with the Department of Education as well in their frameworks. We have lots of assessments in our program that keeps us being a high quality program, which is great. So our assessments include assessments for students and for the educators. So our desired results developmental profile, that's our DRDP assessment, that is for students, and that's done usually twice a year, and you'll get a really detailed outlook of what that is once you join the program. But if you have any questions about that, we can also talk about that later as well. We do have ASQ screenings, which are focused on the development of your student. We like to say it's not a test, it's just more of like a survey or screening to see where your child is currently at developmentally. And we're also going to dive into that a little bit later as well, that Holly will talk about. We have a classroom assessment scoring system, which is considered CLASS, and that actually scores us as educators within our classroom environment. So someone will come out, sometimes a little intimidating for the teachers, but it makes us make sure that we're hitting all the marks appropriately to provide a high quality education within the classroom environment. We have that nutrition curriculum, which you think, what are we talking about for nutrition? But we have mealtime activities. So like, for example, setting the table, preparing food, serving the food. We do that family style. We have your students sample unfamiliar food. We teach them how to pour their milk into a cup. Again, that nutrition curriculum, what that looks like to have a healthy, balanced meal. We also have cooking experiences, and we teach them to clean up. All those things that help you as well at home, building that independence and, learning how to take care of themselves, especially when it comes to nutrition, and when you guys maybe even go out to eat and things like that, it comes in very handy. We have music and movement as a co-curricular class, which means we have a teacher that comes in, a music teacher that comes into the class and teaches music. We also have class performances twice a year, I believe. Ms. Lopez, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we do have those as well, which is fun for families to come and actually see what the children have been working on through the school year. We also were granted a social emotional peace grant, which is really awesome. It was from the Department of Education. And basically that is where educators are trained. So a lot of us have attended a training specifically for social emotional development to foster students' growth, supporting their emotional resilience, self-regulation skills, their interpersonal skills. But it really helps those that have a hard time self-regulating. So for example, if your student has a hard time detaching from you. Say if it's their first time even being dropped off at school or dropped off at other places, sometimes they have a really hard time emotionally regulating, like crying. You maybe they'll cry for long periods of time, but we'll work on all those skills. All of our classroom environments have materials, toys, and books to meet those social emotional needs of all our young learners. And then we also offer monthly virtual parent education and engagement opportunities as well. All right, now I'm going to turn it over to Miss Lopez, and she is going to talk about a few things, including our dual immersion preschool.
All right, I have to unmute myself first. Good evening, everyone. I am Miss Lopez, and I'm the site supervisor at the Jordan Preschool. Our afternoon session, our PM part day at Jordan, is actually a dual immersion preschool. This year, we started with doing a 50-50 two-way immersion program where 50% of the time we're speaking in Spanish and the other time we're speaking in English. And so with dual language learners, our children in our program for preschool is through age 5, who are learning two languages at the same time or learning a second language while continuing to develop their first language at home. I am actually a dual language learner. My first language was Spanish until I was 5 years old, at least until I started kindergarten. So my actual kindergarten class it was called a bilingual class. So I actually learned English, but they were always taught us to also continue our home language at home. So there's actually a lot of benefits to bilingualism. Research overwhelmingly shows that speaking more than one language is not only associated with increased ability to concentrate or solve problems, but focus, and bilingual children outperform monolingual children in measures of literacy and math. So next year, our dual immersion is going to be a 90-10 two-way immersion. So the majority and most of the day we will be speaking in Spanish to the children. We do a lot of preschool concepts in Spanish, so colors and shapes and counting numbers. There's a lot of directives that we give them too. We talk about body parts. Our children are, now that we're in the springtime, they pretty much can take directives in Spanish. They understand when I ask them to get in line, lávense las manos, wash your hands. They know other things that we do a lot of gestures. So, vamos a cortar, we do things like that. So they're associating words in Spanish with the gestures that we're giving them. So our focus of instruction is not on the learning of two languages, but rather the learning of academic content by using two languages in the classroom. And the kids, we have a lot of fun with it because it's preschool, it's emergent curriculum, it's a play-based, so it's nothing super serious. We don't really test them on it, but we've been having a lot of fun with our group of kids in the afternoon.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ms. Lopez. I switched over our slide to eligibility.
Sure. So not only am I the preschool teacher, site supervisor at Jordan, but I'm also the one that will be doing the eligibility for if you wanted to enroll in the preschool program. So I'm the one that you will be taking, bringing the paperwork to, and I will be receiving all of the documents and reviewing everything to ensure that everybody that turns in their paperwork can qualify for the program. So eligibility for enrollment in the preschool program is based on documentation and verification. The parent or guardian is responsible for providing required documentation, and the preschool office staff, which is me, is responsible for verifying the required documentation. So we'll talk about how there's a preschool packet. The preschool packet actually is going to have a list of all the documents that you need to provide in order to be eligible for the CSPP program. So there is actually, and the eligibility is based on the documentation and the verification. And so there's a list there on the slide. It talks about the children that we have to take first, children that are at risk, abused, neglect, and or exploited, homelessness. We also have an income eligibility and family size. And so what that is free preschool is actually based on your family size. So it's how many adults, children are in the family, and then also how many children are in the family. So it's by the same parent. And we look at all of the income, and there's actually, so that means you need to provide check stubs, whatever your income is, however you receive income for your family monthly. And then I put that into a family calculation sheet, and then it tells me whether you qualify for the program or not. So, for example, if you're a family of five, it shows there that your monthly income cannot exceed or has to be around 11,889. If it goes over, if it's under that, then it's free. The preschool program is free. But if it's a little bit over and it's under the maximum of 13,673, then there probably will be a small fee, which the state lets me know what that fee is. It's a calculated fee, so it's like a sliding scale that you would receive. So that is actually available online. It's actually eligibility across California. So everybody that has a state program is using the same income eligibility list. We also currently take CalWORKs cash aid recipients, and then we have children with exceptional needs as well. So families with children with exceptional needs must provide their income for verification and provide documentation of the child's disability. For part day and full day age eligibility, children with exceptional needs beyond the 10% set aside must be given second priority for enrollment as long as their family's income is below the eligibility threshold. So we are required by the state to provide preschool for 10% of children that either hold an IEP or have any special needs. Once we receive that 10%, we do not have to accept any more unless there's space and we're not full for enrollment in all of the preschool classrooms. So then at that point, we would start a waiting list, and then we would go off that list based on lowest income to highest income for any child that we need to provide that has an IEP or it has any special needs. All right. So we have the enrollment process. The enrollment process at a glance. Is that a slide, Renika? Okay. Yeah. So that is the first page of the packet. So in the packet, you're going to have a list there, and you want to go through the whole thing, because if you don't have something or you're missing a document, I cannot actually, I can't even take, like, I'll have parents that show up and they don't even have half the packet done. So you want to have the whole packet done. You want to have your list of everything, because I can't even complete what I need to do on my end to ensure enrollment for your child. So there is a checklist. There is the things that you need to do. There's an interest form that you have to complete so that I know that you're interested in the program. And that's actually how I keep track of the parents who want to enroll their children. And then that tells me who I'm going to email as far as letting you know what my dates of availability are during the summer to enroll everybody that wants to come to our preschool. And then there's the online interest form is actually, you're going to find that on the district website. I believe it's going live. It says there at 9 a.m., sorry, on April 21st. So if you are interested in enrolling your child in the preschool, you need to complete that form, because that's how I'm going to contact you and let you know my availability for the summertime to come in and complete the process. And then the required documentation, it's in the packet and it's also going to be on the website. So you want to use that checklist there and make sure that you have anything. If for any reason you're not sure what document you need exactly, or you're not sure if you have it or not, please email me and I can answer your questions about the preschool enrollment. And then we also require a physician's report from the doctor. So if your child has had a physical within the last year or before school starts, that is a document that you'll need to take to the doctor to sign. And though that report is only good for 1 year. So for example, if you had one in physical just maybe last week, let's say in March, you can take that form to the doctor. The doctor's going to fill it out, stamp it that your child saw the doctor on March 27th. But you'll need to keep it updated for the year. So that means you'll receive one about a month before it's due, and you'll need to do one again the following year to keep it current. The interest form will be available on April 19th, I believe. I think I saw that question. Yeah. And then there's also in the packet that it tells you what all of the preschool children need, what type of immunizations that they need, because we are located on not within a school district, and our CCP contract requires that all of the kids must have their immunizations in order for them to start school. There is no waivers anymore for immunizations anymore. And then also, if you are planning on enrolling your child through preschool, please do not enroll them in Aries. That is actually something that myself and our office manager will be doing once we receive all of the documentation and your enrollment is complete. That information will be going into Aries.
Thanks, Ms. Lopez.
Sure, you're welcome.
All right. So we're going to talk about family fees. Ms. Lopez kind of touched on it a little bit when she went over the income threshold, and if you're kind of just above that amount, and this will kind of equal family fees. Also tied into this family fees are tuition rates as well. So fees are assessed based on income and family size. There's no adjustment for excused or unexcused absences. We also do not prorate for, say, non-school days, that are in the school year, like winter break, spring break, and those things. Credit is also not given for your child, again, being absent in school for any reason. And then payments are paid in advance on the first day of the month. Payments can be made online. We have My Schoolbucks is what we've been using, or you can also walk it into the district office and they'll give it to the fiscal department directly. We do have delinquent fees, and then after 7 calendar days, you'll probably accrue that fee, and Fred Hernandez will actually send you an invoice for that as well. After a certain amount of time, usually 2 weeks of unpaid, you could be terminated from the program. Again, we have our physical department contact, which is Mr. Fred Hernandez, that couldn't be here tonight as well. There are a few exceptions for family fees. There's no fee for, again, those eligibility under at risk, homeless, those sort of things that you would qualify under. And then anyone below the 40% of the state median income. Sorry, this is jumping around on me. Again, so we do have those few exceptions with the family fees, but again, we can talk about that in detail, usually when you enroll, and you'll know all of the details of that. All right, our parent handbook. So we'd like to stress I know it's a lot. This year it's 35 pages, but it's really important to read your parent handbook every year. So I'm gonna just kind of cruise through it really quick just so you can see what it looks like. But the handbook will be available online, as well as when you pick up your enrollment packet. So you can either download it or it will be available at the district office. So again, it's about 35 pages, but it goes pretty in detail of some really important topics like absences, best interest days, late pickups, fees, health and illnesses. All those types of things are in here. You can also access I'm going to scroll down pretty fast. Sorry about that. But at I think it's page 34, 35, there is a parent acknowledgement form that everyone must sign as well, acknowledging that you received and read the handbook. Also, while I have this up on my screen, I'm just going to kind of touch on the parent volunteer form. This is where you can access the parent volunteer. There are different things that are required. Sorry about that. It's my laptop jumping around. But for parent volunteer, you will be required for certain immunizations as well. That is a state requirement. That is not a district requirement. So you'll see here on the form, we'll ask you for MMR, a TB test. You can opt out or decline for the influenza. But again, this is a form that is required before you can volunteer within the classroom. Switch back over. Again, so we're talking about absence policies, what's excused or unexcused, tardies, and also wanted to highlight our preschool is not a drop-in service. Again, it's preschool, so we're getting them ready for TK and up. So we do have just about the same consequences for not coming to school. So again, we're just getting them prepared and ready, and sometimes it's getting us as parents more prepared and ready than the students. We also have the information about approved emergency contact and pickup list. This is really important. I just wanted to highlight that because those that are on the emergency contact or pickup list should be over the age of 18 years old. It's just, again, a state requirement that we have to follow. And then if you come or you ask somebody to pick up your student, they must have a driver's license at least for the first time, just because, again, as educators in the room, we're not going to be able to know who you are. So we've got to match your name with your driver's license and what's on the emergency contact. And it's just for the safety of your student. Usually we only need to do that one time. That way we recognize who you are. But again, it's a regulation from community care licensing that we have to do that. And best practices for independent toileting. This is a really huge topic because, of course, we know that preschoolers, they have accidents, which is totally fine. But also, we know that you're also working on developmentally getting them prepared to use the toilet. So sometimes parents kind of freak out. They're not ready yet, or they're having lots of accidents. So there's a lot of things that kind of go into if your child is developmentally ready for toileting. So this here is a little tip sheet. It's tips for families and tips for educator. Again, it's a partnership. So we like to work together on these things, and we'll also have an independent toileting class, parenting class as well. That is really helpful. Within our enrollment packet also is our toileting and pull-up assistant plan. So this is actually just something that helps us during the enrollment process and also letting the teacher know where your child is at. Again, preschool, we cannot have diapers. Diapers are not allowed. Some that are working towards things like maybe some students are in a full day program. Sometimes it happens that they might be in a pull-up, or again, if there's some medical needs, they also might require a little bit more help in that area as well. But again, this form is just something that helps us know where your child is at, certain things that are required. So if they are having a lot of accidents or they need a little bit more assistance, we will ask that everyone, all the children, bring a change of clothes, maybe a different set of pull-ups, to change throughout the day. So again, this is something that Ms. Lopez will go over during the enrollment process. Again, the handbook will talk about student health, what's required, like say if your student has diarrhea or a fever, how they must stay home for 24 hours. And then again, that parenting volunteer form that we talked about. All right, I am now going to turn it over to Miss Brander to talk about some program spotlights.
Well, hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Thumbs up if you can. Thank you. So I am in transition to another meeting, but I am here and happy to be here. Thank you for being here. I just wanted to highlight a few things that are going on. I'm the TOSA, the Teacher on Special Assignment, and part of my role is to oversee a First Five grant, and that's to support families newborn to 5 with programs and resources. And one of the very best benefits of First Five is we actually have a learning link. And right now, Lori Zarati is our lead facilitator, and she is working really closely with our families. We have over 100 families that we serve every week. And as you can see, we're going into our last session. So session number 6, you can go online onto the Lowell Joint website to click on registration, or you can email me at hbrander@ljsd.org to find more about it. But we have classes on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8:30 to 9:45, from 10 to 11:15, and then from 1:15 or 1 to 2:15. And then on Fridays, we have Fun Physical Friday. And what you can see here in the very center is we are guiding all of our work around some data that we collect. It's called the Early Developmental Index. It's in the EDI data. And we look at the domains, cognitive domains. We look at health, and we look at fine and gross motor. We look at pro-social skills, communication skills, and we see those areas of vulnerability. And those are the areas that we try and focus on in terms of our resources and programs for families. And so these are just some pictures. The picture that you see in orange is just a reading center. You can see the mom and the child reading together. We have crafts that we do. We work on literacy. We can see the letter E and stickers. So we're working on motor skills, but also recognizing the first letter in our name. We have sensory motor areas, but our room is set up somewhat like a preschool, so kids can explore and learn, but we also have some constructed time around morning circle and songs and really some great learning opportunities for our families. But we also talk about the developmental milestones to be aware of when you're working with your child. We also have Fun Physical Friday, and that's open to everybody. So on Fridays, when available, from 9:30 to 11, we open up the gate by our Maybrook garden, and there we explore gross and bimotor skills, but we also explore the garden using our observation tools and our communication skills to really evoke that opportunity for what we call productive and receptive language. We have a calendar that goes out, and that allows our families to see. We had Farm Day yesterday, where we had the high school come in, and we had actual making of butter and getting to see cows and all sorts of farm animals with our families. But just a great opportunity for families, since you're their first responders, to work with your children as we prepare them for school. In addition to that, we have the Parent Cafe, and that is in alignment also with our preschool. We have meeting dates, and so if Renika wants to click on that, that's on our Lowell Joint website. We have meeting dates where we meet every month, once through Zoom and once live in our Parent Cafe, which is located at Maybrook. You can show interest by using this QR code. It's on our Lowell Joint School District website, so you can go there and also enroll. But it's a great way for parent learning and parent advocacy. So if you go back to the slide, you can see that in December, we had fun making Play-Doh together, scented Play-Doh with our parents in the Learning Link. You also see there a handout on the milestones around communication. We're looking at receptive and productive language and talking about what that looks like for a 4-month-old versus a 4-year-old. So we work on those areas along with our parent advocates. We have a parent in our Learning Link that is a behavior, a therapist, and so she works with us to promote some of those skills. In addition, we're going to be doing the ASQs. Like Renika talked about that in our preschools. The ASQs is the Ages and Stages questionnaire. It's filled out by our families. And what's really great about it, that it allows our families to really see where their children are doing well in terms of the ASQ, and we look at the domains. There's just some questions that parents can answer. And when they answer those questions, we're allowed to meet up and look at those answers and really look at maybe some of the areas that they're doing well in, but some areas where we might want to grow that child. And so it's a really great opportunity for us to get together and build those skills and look at resources that might be available to build those skills around those various domains. We first look at the ASQ, and then we look at the ASQ SE, which is the social emotional portion. So again, a set of questions that allows us to look at the various ages. So depending on the age of your child, you'll be answering questions. Once those questions are answered, we get together and we're able to look at areas that they're doing really well in, as well as areas that they might be vulnerable in, or areas that we might want to check out a little bit more closely so that you can help prepare and we can work together in preparing your child for school. So there is going to be access to a guide for parents as we look at that. And there will be providing a lot of resources for families. But again, we know that you're the first responder. So being able to use that as a guide, there's 21 different questionnaires depending on your child's age, allows you to really be an advocate for what your child needs in terms of these different domains, in terms of big skills as well as little skills for your child to be ready for school. We also are very lucky. We have Healthy Smiles come in. You can see here, there's a dental hygienist teaching children about how to take care of their teeth. So we're fortunate that both in our TK and our preschool settings, we're able to have Healthy Smiles. UCI Mobile is another community provider that comes out and checks our children's eyes. And so we're able to offer glasses to our children. And then vision and hearing is something else we're able to assess. And so our nurses have been really, really good in being able to advocate for that so that we get those early readiness, early precursor things that we can identify so that we can really help that your child be ready for school. So again, my name is Holly Brander. Last but not least, we have a great event. This is the first opportunity for you to sign up on May 20th in the spring. We're going to be having a parent night, and it's going to be open to all families with children newborn to 5. And what we love about it is you're going to get dinner. You'll get to meet some of our community providers and see what's available for summer. So we're calling it Spring into Summer. So you'll have some resources as we look at the summer. We're going to have an interactive workshop. We have Jennifer Kinkle from Fullerton coming in, a professor that's going to guide us through the ASQ, through those domains, looking specifically at gross and fine motor skills, as well as social emotional pro-social communication. But not only are we going to have opportunities for us to sit and interact with our children, but we're also going to have opportunities to go outside and build skill builder kits and build inside skill builder kits for you to take home. So a resource kit for you to be using during the summer, depending on what your child age is. But this is free. It's also going to have some raffle tickets where we're going to offer some sensory skill kits, some resources for you to use with your child at home. But this is going to be published on our Lowell Joint website. It's for our Learning Link families. It's for our preschool families. It's for our TK families. It's for those that are interested in any of these that are in Lowell Joint and our surrounding areas. There is a space limited. So we're looking for only a certain amount because obviously, we have a room with families, with parents and children. So please sign up, make a commitment, know that it's free, but it's there because we want to get you ready for the summer.
Thank you, Holly. Hey, we are almost done. So a quick snapshot here of upcoming important dates. Again, feel free. I know sometimes I like to snap a picture, especially of a screen that has a lot of upcoming dates like this. But again, you can reference this these slides and the recording on the website, hopefully by tomorrow afternoon at the latest. But we do have some preschool classroom tours that are coming up, as well as an open house for the Learning Link, which the Learning Link is located on the Maybrook campus. We also have the date of April 21st, which the enrollment packets will be available for pickup at the district office, and interest forms as well. I'm sorry, the interest form online will open as well on the 21st. But have a little bit of surprise for those that attended tonight. Just for attending, you actually will get first dibs. So make sure and write this down. But as of April 15th, for attending the meeting, the interest form will open a little bit early for you to kind of get first dibs on that, as well as the packet will be available. If you have any questions on that, feel free to reach out to me as well. As well as we have the preschool open house that's coming up as well, and the family intake appointments that Ms. Lopez talked about, where you have to have all your documentation ready before the appointment. For current families, we start that on May 19th, and for new families, June 18th. Again, when you reach out to Ms. Lopez, whatever appointment that she gives you, please make sure that you have all the documentation, including the physician form sign, all the updated immunizations, all your income, all of that, or we'll have to reschedule your appointment. And it does go on first come, first serve basis. We also have our family orientation. We always do that in person at the school site that you have chosen to start. So that is on August 13th. And then your first day for your little one will be August 14th. All right, we've made it. So now there's a portion for question and answers. You can feel free to use the chat if you'd like. Or if you want to unmute and you have a question.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, this is Luhua. I have my child in Olita. So he actually started this spring semester, and he will be 5 in October, October 7th. Yeah, October 7th. I don't think I have forgotten my child's birthday. Okay, yeah. So if he will be transitioning to TK, I believe, and so will we have to put in a new application, or is it something if he is going to be in the same school, same location, is there any new process we have to go through to get him into the TK?
I can answer that question. Can you hear me? This is Mrs. Fiscus. I'm the office manager for preschool as well as some other programs. Yes, you will need to fill out a brand new application for the elementary school. So although the preschool is on an elementary school campus, and much of the information that's required of the elementary school for registration is the same, there are different aspects to that. So it is a separate registration process. So I would encourage you to either do that on Aries online or to go into the elementary school office and get that taken care of right away.
Thanks, Ms. Fiscus.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And then number 2, my son, he will be 3 years in November. But then, so is he allowed to start preschool? Or because he will be 3 years in November, he's not allowed? And I mean, he is currently on for the training, so he is coping very well. And by the time preschool started, he would have been even okay in terms of toileting and stuff. So can he be considered to start preschool?
Yes, it sounds like he qualifies. Ms. Lopez, you want to add into that or anything? But as long as he's 3 before December 1st, yes.
Correct. Yeah. As long as he's 3 by September 1st, he is eligible for preschool.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Sure.
My name is Alyssa Gomez. My son is 3 years old right now. His name is Ace Gomez. He's been testing for speech delay and behavioral analysis with I believe it's at Macy. And my daughter goes to Olita, but I guess with Macy and Olita and I believe it's Jordan, they do the testing at Macy, but they said that he'd be able to go to preschool at Olita. I have a meeting tomorrow at the 28th to get the results for his testing. I wanted to know if he could do the preschool and if he qualifies for the speech delay the speech delay and all of that, if they'll be able to pull him out to do work with him if he goes to the preschool.
So I'll answer that in two parts there. One, you probably want to reach out to me or Miss Lopez just because, confidentially, we can answer some of those detailed questions for you. But
Okay.
two, yes, they all children that are on IEP, especially for speech, they do get pulled out during their school day, and so they're able to see their speech person and get services while they're at school, which is nice.
Okay, perfect. And then I just had one more question. Because of
Sure.
his speech delay and the issues that he has in his developmental part aspect, he's having a really hard time potty training. We've been working on it, but he's 3 and he's still in a pull-up and has lots of accidents. I did ask Olita if he qualifies just because he has the IEP or if he still would have to be completely potty trained.
So that also kind of ties back to our independent toileting, that consent, that plan that I kind of showed a little bit earlier, and then us partnering together. So that'll kind of be another case by case. So we can talk about like how far along is he? Maybe we can give you some strategies before school starts and those sort of thing. So yeah, it sounds like you're really far along, meaning you're in a pull-up. He's in a pull-up, so
Yeah.
that's a positive. And again, accidents happen. So even in TK and kindergarten, they have accidents. Depending if they're enjoying their time with their friends and they don't want to stop playing to use the restroom, or just again, developmentally, they're not ready. So yeah, we do have some tools and resources that we can share and talk about to kind of help with that. So yeah, again, I would say reach out to me and Miss Lopez, and we can talk about that and the IEP process too for you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Is your guys' email listed anywhere so I can see or
Yes.
email you guys?
Yes. So mine is right here on the screen, and Miss
Okay.
Lopez is just C Lopez, LOPEZ at ljsd.org.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Any other questions?
Yes, where will the toileting training be attached?
Oh, the actual parent education, that
Yes.
kind of training? Oh,
Yes.
so we're going to do that. It's going to be available via Zoom. We don't have our next upcoming date yet. There was
Okay.
one in March. So we'll try to get one before the end of the school year. If not, for the fall, we will try to have a whole calendar so you'll know what each topic is planned for the month for independent toileting. But you
Okay.
can also email me, and then I can also send you some other resources as well that might be there might be some other recordings or things that I can send you or some more information. So yeah, feel free to
Okay.
email me.
Great.
Great question.
And another question, if I'm interested in enrolling my 3-year-old in Jordan Elementary for the dual emergent program, 3 times a week, would I be choosing the days or how does that work?
So unfortunately, unless it's a case to where there's a medical appointment
Mm-hmm.
or maybe they're receiving services, we don't
Mm-hmm.
have 3 days a week. They do come for 5 days a week.
I see.
Mhm.
Okay.
But again, so we don't have, say, like a 2 day or 3 day program, which sometimes is offered at some
Yeah.
programs. All of our part day and full days are 5 days a week, unless you have
And
those.
how about preschool, regular, if it's not the dual emergent, just preschool itself?
Yes, as well, even if it's not dual immersion.
Okay, so no part-time this time
No, our
around.
part-time is considered just the 3 hour a day, but not
Okay.
different days of the week.
Okay,
Sorry
thank
about
you.
that.
That's
Of
okay.
course.
I
Great
have a
question.
question. Hi.
Hi.
My name is Janet. I have a question as far as the dual immersion program. Is that full time or part time? Sorry, you might have answered that. I didn't catch that.
That's okay. Yeah, our dual immersion program is in the PM part day session at Jordan.
Okay. And so once they enroll in that, do they continue on every year or you have to reapply for that to be in that program?
I believe you have to reapply because you're moving on to TK, which is a reapplication anyway. Miss Fiscus, am I saying that right? I believe it's not like
Correct.
guaranteed you would move on into the TK and up dual immersion program.
No, it is not guaranteed. There are limited space availability. And so as you transition from preschool into TK or to kindergarten, you're encouraged to do that registration process.
Okay. And so that program is all the way up to what grade? What grade is that program available?
The dual immersion, that I
Yes.
believe that goes all the way up to our sixth grade, eighth grade.
Currently
Which
sixth
one?
grade.
Correct. We're into
Yes.
the junior high level now.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Miss Dixon. This is Allison Jackson. Interested in enrolling my son Miles for preschool. I apologize if this has already been discussed. We joined a little bit late, but just curious if you had information on the tuition cost for families that don't qualify for financial aid from the state.
Oh, sure. I have a reference for that, but I'll just tell you verbally. But it will be available online as well for the 25-26 rates. But the part day program at Jordan, so it's the AM or the PM session, is $650 a month, $650. And then the full day at Olita or Macy is $950 a month.
Okay, great. And then another question. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
We are zoned, so we live in La Habra Heights, which is unincorporated. We are zoned, I think, technically for El Portal, but I know they don't offer the preschool program. How would we, I guess, do we decide whether we go to Olita or Macy, or is that determined by Miss Lopez at enrollment?
So the nice thing about preschool, yes, you can choose which location, depending on space availability. So again, if you're on this call, so thanks again for joining us this evening. So you'll kind of get first dibs on the interest form. So again, based on availability, say you want Macy, and obviously if there's a spot available, yes, you can have that one.
Okay, great. And then is there any type of like after school care beyond the 3:15 pickup time or like summer programs that you guys offer?
Unfortunately, not yet. We are working on it for sure. So, for example, our summer program, we can only have summer in a licensed classroom. So, right now, say for the upcoming summer, the program summer offer is at Meadow Green, and we don't have a classroom there that's licensed by the community care for us to have preschool students in that. So, that's why we don't have preschool during the summer. After school program, unfortunately, our ELOP and Power Source is only TK and up. So right now, 3:15 is our latest. But I do know some parents that have contacted, I believe it's the YMCA, and they're able to coordinate with them transportation and things like that for after school.
Okay, that's really helpful. Thank you so much.
Sure. Yeah. If you have any other questions on that, just feel free to send me an email.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so quick question.
Sure.
So do they have any specific summer programs? I know some institutions they do have, let's say, students going on summer campaign and organizing some program for these kids so that they get engaged during the summer. Is there something like that, or is there a recommendation you can give?
Great question. So I know at last year we were able to offer something through our Learning Link program, but this year we also don't have Learning Link or preschool. But I do know there might be some local community things. I know La Habra, I believe, is offering something during the summer. You can send me an email and I can get the link for you and send you that resource as well for La Habra that's having something during the summer.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have a question about the dual immersion program again.
Sure.
Is there a separate meeting for that? Just like for more info, so we can get more information or that, or
You know, at this moment, we don't have anything scheduled. I can talk to Miss Lopez about that. We did join, actually, there was a separate dual immersion meeting at Jordan earlier in the school year, and we did join that as a preschool, but we didn't have anything specifically for the preschool for dual immersion. But that might be something we can put together, and maybe it's just a short 30-minute Zoom meeting. I'll
so
definitely write that down.
as far as learning more about the program as of right now is how can we go about that?
You probably, I would suggest if you wanted to come to the tour next Thursday, I will be here to answer the questions and you can come look at the classroom and meet the other teachers as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I have another question. First time mom. So my kid is, I think I asked that, but I don't think they answered. It wasn't answered. My kid is he's 3, turning 4 on September 20th. So he's eligible for preschool.
Correct.
But next year, when he's about to turn 5, should he be enrolling into TK or kindergarten?
So he will be 5. When is his 5th birthday?
Next year on the 21st
of September, you said?
Yes.
So he would be enrolling in TK.
Okay.
And remember, that's a separate enrollment process.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any more questions? I know we're a little bit over.
Hello.
Yes, hi. How can I help you?
Yeah, my name is Basim. I have twins. They are gonna be 3 years old in August. I'm asking when and how we can enroll for preschool, please.
So enrollment, let me go back to that screen really quick. It might be a little easier. So Ms. Lopez kind of went over that briefly earlier. There is a enrollment process at a glance. So the interest form will go live on April 15th for those that are on this call and attended tonight. So you can scan this QR code, or probably by next week, we're going to have everything uploaded on the website as well. And that way you can print off the enrollment form, which has a checklist of all these things on there. But you do have to do the interest form first. Then you'll need to pick up an enrollment packet from the district office, or you can print it from the website. And then once you get all your information ready for your twins, then you would email Miss Lopez to schedule your family intake appointment, where she'll go over everything in person.
So
it's a little complex for the preschool, I know.
If there is any email or something you can get from Ms. Lopez to email her the form, please?
Sure. The email is clopez@ljsd.org. And I did put it in the chat as well for any other families that are on the Zoom that would like to email me any questions.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. For those that might have any other questions, again, on the screen right here, feel free to email me, or again, Ms. Lopez put her email in the chat. But I want to thank you again for attending. I know we went over a bit, so thank you for your patience. I know it was a lot of information tonight. And again, you can reference this presentation on our website, the preschool website, or it might be available through a link at our district website as well. Feel free to follow us on Instagram as well for upcoming information. And I want you all to have a wonderful evening, and thanks again. Take care.